Welcome to the Binge List. I am your host, Paul Chappell. This is Umbrella Academy Season 2, Spoiler Edition. So, let me just warn you now, if you haven't already seen Umbrella Academy Season 2, go ahead, switch this off right now. You might want to see the last review I did. It didn't have quite as many spoilers, still some. So, I recommend that you go watch this show and come back and then we'll talk. For all you other people who have stayed and have seen the series, let's talk about those 4 twists that I mentioned in my last review. Now, there was a lot more twists now that I've thought about it a little bit, but I'm going to just package all those twists into these 4 because some of them were variants of these main 4. But the first great one was the ending. The team, they all returned to 2019 and they're in the Umbrella Academy, or what we think is the Umbrella Academy. And Diego looks up at the wall and he sees it. He sees a portrait of Ben, and there should be no portrait of Ben. And then, of course, they see Reginald Hargreaves, who is alive. And plus, not only that, Ben is alive. But he's not as old as he should be if he had survived this timeline up to that point. He's actually a little bit younger. He's actually the age he was when he actually died in the other timeline. So what happened? Well, I've had a chance to read a bunch of interviews that the cast have done, and the showrunner, Steve Blackman, great name, by the way, Steve Blackman. He's a white guy. But anyway, he did a few interviews, and the one I read, he was talking about the butterfly effect. Now, the butterfly effect is something that happens when you go back in time, you change the timeline, and because of that, there are ripples through the space-time continuum. So in this case of this season, we know that Diego, he interacted with Grace, who was the model for his mother in the other timeline, the android that we knew from the first season. She was actually a real woman named Grace that dated his father, Reginald. And we don't know what happened to her. We assume she died, or maybe she didn't die because Diego warned her that his father was a little bit dangerous. So that could be one possible reason he put this suspicion in her head, and she actually investigated Reginald Hargreaves and she left him. So that could be one thing that caused these future changes. Another thing that happened, the entire team meets with Reginald Hargreaves himself, and he declares to them that he doesn't like children. And I think from what I could see, he did not particularly like them either once he met them. So my feeling is that he started the whole superhero thing a little bit later by releasing the orbs. And you're probably looking at me like right now thinking, the orbs? What are you talking about, Paul Chappell? Well, I'll tell you. I did a little research, and it turns out that there was something that indicated that Reginald Hargreaves actually may have had a hand in impregnating all those women across the globe, those 43 that had children in 1989. And it was one of the scenes in the last episode from the first season. And there was I don't know, you might not remember this. This went right over my head when I saw it. But in this scene, we see Reginald Hargreaves saying goodbye to his wife. We suppose, we don't really know, but she gives him a violin and tells him to take it, find somebody else that can play the violin, that I guess she's going to die. That's the implication of the scene. And then he takes the violin. He looks out the window, and there are like rockets going off, and it looks like he's not really on Earth. I'm not really sure about that. I haven't been able to figure out that one way or the other, but he releases a jar of orbs, and the orbs look the same way those lights that came out of Vanya's mouth when she rescued Harlan. You might have noticed that, not if you've seen that scene. So there's some indication that, yes, he caused this event, whatever you want to call it, that led to these superheroes. So We also get an indication, and this, if you're wondering the twist that I kind of felt, I kind of felt that went beyond the pale. It's the reveal that Reginald Hargreaves is actually an alien. If you remember the scene where he has with the Illuminati after they assassinate John F. Kennedy, he confronts all those people and they insult him, and we see him take off his human mask, and then he proceeds to kill everybody in the room off screen. So we don't really know if that actually happened or not, whether somebody actually survived. We don't know until the next season. But yes, Reginald Hargreaves is an alien, and apparently he has been assisting the United States with their rocket technology so that they could compete with the Soviet Union and get to the moon. And why does he want to help them? Well, one of the reasons we find out later, or we will find out later in next season, and turn this off if you don't want to know anything about next season. But apparently there's some indication that Reginald Hargreaves, he has a prison on the dark side of the moon. And this prison is called Hotel Oblivion, according to the third comic that came out, I think last year or maybe the year before that. But yes, there is a prison for powered individuals on the moon, which is, strangely enough, may be the reason why Luther was up there in the first place. We don't know yet. That's speculation on my part, but I've done enough research where I think that that's where they're going with the next season. So there's that. Okay, so those were two of the biggest reveals this season, two of the biggest twists. And I've kind of, the one I said I didn't like, it's kind of grown on me a little bit. I'm not as disappointed as I once was. So let's just move on to one of my most favorite twists, and that is the one where it is revealed that the Handler is back. Yes, Kate Walsh. Kate Walsh is an actor who worked on Fargo with the showrunner Steve Blackman. That's how they know each other. She's a great actress. She has that whole myth thing going on. I really found myself kind of attracted to her and her portrayal. She's just a great actress, and she returns. Apparently, she survived that gunshot to her head from Hazel last season because she had a plate in her head, which was put in her head after the Shanghai incident, whatever that is. So I love that part. It's also revealed that she has a daughter, quote unquote daughter, because it's not really her daughter, but she has a daughter that she kidnapped from a couple of people that she had assassinated by Five. And it's interesting because we find out later that Lila, her daughter, is one of those 43 children that were born with superpowers. Yes, she has the ability to mimic other people's powers. She's kind of like, Rogue from the X-Men. So she's going to be, I'm hoping, in the next season. We don't know yet. We'll see. But I was kind of encouraged that she verified the theory I had that there are more superpowered beings out there, and that the team will either fight with these people or just encounter them some way. I'm assuming that most of them either decide to become villains or something else. I don't know. We'll let the writers figure that out, but I'm very encouraged by all these things. It was a great season, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. It's going to be a long wait, boys and girls, but I'd like to thank my subscribers and encourage you, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give me a like, give me a comment, and let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel. And if you're already subscribed, go ahead and smash that bell so you know when another one of my videos drops. But that's all I got for today, and I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching.